My name is Laurie Yu. I am a student at TAR University College. I
Okay,
am 17 this year. I will be 18 this year, my bad.
okay. So my first question to you is, from what I know, you chose to opt online for uh the majority of this semester. Now, what I want to know is how long have you studied online in college?
Hello, my name is Lee Wing Yong. I am 19 years old and I'm studying in TARUC.
All right. Uh, so Mr. Wing Yong, how has the hybrid learning experience been for you?
Yes, there's a pros and cons for me because we learn hybrid learning and so there's an online class.
Well, since enrollment up until now, so that's been from 2021.
Since enrollment of last year, meaning
Yep.
that it has almost been 1 year that you've studied entirely online.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ever since the implementation of hybrid study mode, most classes are organized in a certain way that not everyone goes to campus at a time. Ever since the implementation of hybrid study mode, most classes are organized in a certain way that not everyone goes to campus at a time. This over here is a large hallway outside the labs. 2 years ago, before the pandemic, of course, this would be a very busy site with students walking all over the place, in and out of computer labs, having discussions. However, now as we can see, this is far from what is considered a busy site, as not even a quarter of the space is occupied by the students. With this walkthrough, we can see that the second floor of this building looks as empty as it does for the lower floor. All these rooms with computers were not prepared for little to no students. They were meant to be populated classes in these labs, and this really shows how college life has changed during this pandemic. As you can see, there are still people walking in and out of this building. However, this is a massive difference compared to what things were like before the pandemic started. Why do you choose to take the risk of going to campus physically when we're in a pandemic?
Yeah, because I think I don't like the experience of online learning. Like other than martial art, I prefer the physical class because I really can meet with my friend and share my thought to the teacher face to face. So and I get more motivated lah. So I can like just studying in the maybe in the libraries, in the campus or really and make a group discussion in the discussion room in the campus. And so I think this is the reason why I prefer the physical class and go to campus physically.
Hmm. So to summarize, you think it motivates you more to study when you're in campus,
Yes.
and
Yes.
also you would like to use the utilities and amenities
Yeah.
provided by the
Yes.
institution. All right. Do you feel like it is harder to interact with people now since everyone is social distancing and wearing a mask in campus?
Certainly yes, because with mask, sometimes even I meet with my friend, like maybe my secondary school friend, I also can't recognize them because they're wearing masks. And the social distancing make me feel like we have the distance with others. So I really so it's cause a little bit of inconvenience. But and because of pandemic, like campus also don't have a lot of students. So really, yeah, it's harder to interact with others or enjoy any co-curricular activities lah.
Ever since the implementation of hybrid study mode, most classes are organized in a certain way that not everyone goes to campus at a time. Usually, they are split into half, where one half goes to campus while the others have class online, leaving the campus with a very limited capacity of students. As evident in all corners of campus, there is just not as many students as there are supposed to be, causing a social distance physically and figuratively among themselves, where the only thing that stops them from learning together is the effort to ensure their health and safety.
is Chitra, and I was thinking that to speed up the lecture session so that when you are going into your tutorial discussions, you have more time to prepare for your final exam. So later I'll try to touch on chapter 12, and which means that next Friday I'll be finishing everything off. And then week 14 lecture will be solely our revisions, revisions, quote unquote. Okay, so if you miss out week 14, then great. You get me, right? Sometimes I can't really say it out loud because it's recorded. Okay, I need to record. So week 14, I make sure so you don't miss out the
Do
class. And
attend
I
physical
wanted to
classes.
apology
About how many percent
on
of
one
students
thing.
are
I think that
present
this
in
will
the
be a
physical
little bit of
class?
a very challenging
For me, I think for my
thing.
course, I think it's
I'm
like
trying to recall back
I
before
studying the
COVID
journalism
started.
course. I think it's like
But
80%
unfortunately,
mostly
when
all
I
of them
checked
because we are a small class, so we can attend a class all together.
But what about the classes where you have to attend with other courses?
If other courses has quite a lot of students, so it's quite difficult for them to attend physically because we will like risk will be highest because so they really take like so they really so I think there are a few students from other course like really attend the physical class lah if compared to our course. Really.
Google sucks also. Sometimes I can't believe that. And then this morning also stuck like this. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know when is it going to start record, but anyhow, let's start. Okay, chapter 10, and it's basically continue lessons from the chapter 9 where we still talk about mass media professions. In fact, that initially my plan during the tutorial sessions. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes. Chapter 10 was the continue lesson from chapter 9 where we still talk about mass media professions. Initially, I thought that we can do some activities in the class where I want you to go out and interview some students and bring back like really do a news reporting kind of stuff. But unfortunately, there are a few factors that doesn't really encourage me. All the news institutions, do they really need a journalist to go and scout for news? So that is the ethical discussions on that. Number 4, news on important public events such as government actions, international issues, social conditions, and economy. For example, in the very recent news, where Prime Minister Ismail Sabri announced that on the 1st of April there will be a loosen up the entire SOP, our borders will be reopened for the foreigners. Those are considered the very hard news. Then let's talk about the soft one first. So, opposite of hard news is soft, where it is not necessary to be timely. Okay, it can be a month ago kind of news, 2 months ago kind of news, last year news, where it is still able to be sustained. To me, if you ask me, example, as long as people still discussing about these particular issues and topics, it falls under soft news. For example, AIDS. For example, go green. For example, LGBT right. For example, feminisms. For example, human right. These are considered soft, but at the same time, it can be hard as well. So it depends on when. Let's say, allow me to quote in over in China, Uyghur, is it pronounced as Uyghur? The Muslim communities over in China. So it is considered a very long-term case and that happens and still exists. The entire problem still exists in China, where it is considered a long-term one. People keep on talking about it, and it serves as a soft news. So soft news, it's also serve on one purpose where it serves as a reminder to you. It somehow tells you that, hey, don't forget about this case. It is still happening, just that it doesn't really have a big news on that. But suddenly when one case, example, one Muslim, Chinese Muslim got killed in that territory, then it become a hard news, and then it will spark. So soft news and hard news can work together. Other than that, soft news. Sometimes I define these kind of things as soft news. Top 5 cafes in Kuala Lumpur, Selangor. top 5 cafe in Setapa. So it can be something that, a month ago or 2 months ago last year. So it serves as not, it doesn't really have, I wouldn't say that it doesn't really have impact to certain target audience or certain recipient message receiver. This can be considered as a hard news for them. For example, top 5 cafes in Kuala Lumpur, top 5 new cafe in Kuala Lumpur, it will be serving as a hard news for KOL who always like to take picture. So it depends on the situations, but hard news and soft news general definitions we can define such lah. It doesn't have much importance to the life of the people. It's a strong statement on number 2, but as I said, it might. Yeah. So if they were to come over here nearer, it might be very dangerous, right? Why are rocky islands
Okay.
dangerous for ships?
So, uh, we know that for this semester we were allowed to go back to campus. However, you chose to opt for online studies. Now, why have you made that decision?
Well, at the beginning of the year, it was because I couldn't get the third booster shot, and from then on, my parents decided that it would not, with the rising COVID cases and all that, my parents decided that it would be safer to have me take the online courses instead.
William Darling, his wife Thomasin, and their daughter Grace. Grace's brothers were usually there too, but at night.
How do you commute or travel to campus?
Normally, I will use the bus, like shelter bus by the TARUC. Because I live in the PV 13s and TARUC has like provides bus service lah. There's free for all the student that live the nearby this area. So it's very convenient for me to use this bus service. And if I really miss that miss the TARUC bus, I'll use the Rapid KL bus. So yeah, the public transport lah is my I used to travel to campus.
They were in Bangkok on the mainland. At 7 o'clock that night,
So, in
William
hindsight,
Darling went
do you
on
think you would have
walls
chosen
and made a
otherwise?
lighthouse to light the big
Well,
oil
in
lantern.
hindsight, yeah, probably.
Okay.
Big oil
My
lantern.
next question for you is: do you enjoy having class looking at the screen?
Grace went with him. William
Uh,
Darling was a thin,
no.
strong man of 50
And
In
years.
some ways, yes. In
He
some
moved
ways, no.
quickly and quietly.
It
He had
allows me to
difficulty
do my own
not
thing
pressing
while
return.
also
Grace,
listening to a
as the
class.
timeline leads
But
up
at the
the
same time,
playground
it
time
also
was the
kind
time
of
of
it's not as
stopping.
engaging as it would be in real life.
Okay? Yeah? Holy Island is another island. Where was
Tidak Hamzah dia pergi. Agak mula-mula tu tak tahu kot. Mungkin lah kot. Kalau tak ada reset macam mana dia nak ni dekat apa?
We cannot control, or rather, we don't control it, right? So this allows individuals within your culture and of the outgroup to know how you feel
do you feel less
when you're
connected
happy,
with your peers?
sad, angry, stressful.
Uh, Definitely
They are
somewhat,
getting
yeah.
to know how you feel.
And why is that?
By just
Well, I'm looking at them through a screen, and they can actually
but
interact in real life.
non-verbal
They can speak to the
interpreting of
teacher,
body
and they can
language
I.
is
There's also the
something
usual classroom shenanigans, and
that
there's plenty I'm missing out on right now.
stands
So
with it is
I see.
always very difficult
Do you think
at the
your
end.
relationship with the peers that
Once
you
you're
have made
comfortable with your
through studying online would have been otherwise improved if you could attend classes physically?
Uh,
right? Or example,
I
when you're talking
maybe
towards your parents, you would just
it would it would be nice to get to know them in real life instead of through a screen.
Okay.
right? Okay. Okay, let me stop presenting first.
A year from now, what do you think studying in college will be like?
I think it's because TARUC will conduct a physical exam for every student. So the final exam lah. So we need to attend the final exam physically. So I think TARUC is planning to open to like it's open to all the student like they need to attend the class physically maybe next semester or a year from now. Maybe I think it's like more and more students will attend to the campus physically, and so I think yeah it's more fun because like we can learn like we can meet with other person, we can do a lot of activities with others or meet with new friends. So I think it's like I think it's quite more fun lah like because in the campus now is quite less people, but I think it's like a year from now maybe campus will really pack with people and yeah.
Are you hopeful for the future of studying in college, whether it would be fully physical, or do you think that uh, like a year from now it will still be the same as it is now?
Yeah, for me, I like the physical class because I like the face-to-face interact. Someone online, you just Google Meet, only a small window, small back window. You can see a photo, you can see your friend, it's I like the physical interact lah. So yeah I just prefer the physical class rather than the online classes.